Hello and welcome to the Philippines. Today we're going to look at a house for rent. It's in a Deca 3 subdivision in Lapu-Lapu, Mactan, Cebu. It is that blue house just ahead of us there, and I think most of these houses are actually townhouses. Depends on where you draw the line between a house and a townhouse. Anyway, it's two-story, has a nice balcony upstairs. I believe townhouse means they have connecting walls right up against each other. And I believe that is what we have in this subdivision. 10 years old, built in 2009, I was told. And although this particular house isn't quite that old, the park across the way was supposed to be a children's playground, but was never set up, was never developed that way in the end, according to this person. And I think Deca Homes was a developer, so not sure why they wouldn't do something like that. And here's the inside of the house anyway. Some nice tiling, wall decorations on the side, couch. It was last rented by a foreigner, I was told, for 18,000 pesos a month. I was also told that it was rented previous to that by, I believe, a foreigner for 16,000 a month for 6 months, and they paid cash the full 6 months up front. That's one of the instances where you can negotiate. If you can pay the complete 6 month lease up front, you should be able to get a pretty good discount on that. And it's cash there, so uh, most people, I don't think anybody takes a check or a credit card here. Uh, I'm not sure of the square footage here. We have our bedrooms upstairs. We've got some stairways out here going up to the balcony, and the kitchen, refrigerator. The stuff is all included. There was a CR there. There was no electric turned on, so we were just dealing with the light that was coming in the windows. So some of these views are a little bit dark. And the main bedroom, the mattress, and there's a door that goes out onto the balcony. Little dresser there. And a window air con already there. Little cabinet, and a nice balcony. You're on a corner lot, and seemed to be relatively quiet. I did hear a rooster and heard a dog barking, but that's life in the Philippines, life in many parts of the world. The dog didn't bark very long. The rooster didn't crow very long. I don't know what time the rooster starts in the morning. So livable space, and go down to the second bedroom. Uh, Much smaller, but would suffice for a couple of kids. You could put a bunk bed in there if you had a couple of kids. Uh, I like the use of the windows, and they've got a little wash area, a little laundry area out here, and includes that washing machine. I presume it works. High pressure tank, or a pressure tank for your water, so you always have water pressure. And the development itself has a pretty large water tank on it, so they're not affected by the drought with water. They've got their access to a water tank, and a larger CR and shower up on the second level as well, with a hot water heater. I'm going to show you a second unit in this development as well. It was for sale or rent to own type basis. And we just walked up to the entrance here, inquired, and they contacted somebody who was an agent of some type, and she came down and showed us around. I believe association fees here are about 250 pesos per month, about $5. And if you want to make some extra money for every kilo of, or 2.2 pounds of plastic that you bring to the basketball court, Wednesday afternoon, you get 1 peso for that. And as I've said before, the best way to find some of these places, just go into an area and start walking around looking for signs, asking the locals. This place seemed to be well maintained. Nice gate, freshly painted, or at least looked like it was freshly painted. The inside and outside of the house looked like it was well maintained. Lots of plants outside. And the inside looked very welcoming as well. And this is a rent to own or outright cash for about 3.2 million or 3.4 million pesos, about 63,000 US dollars. Everything is usually negotiable to some degree, and I think the two different prices I heard were depending upon who was going to pay the taxes and the closing costs, the legal costs to sell the home, if the buyer would or the renter would. And if it was rent to own, and I think somebody said something about 10-year monthly payments for 10 years, if that would be the case would depend upon the interest rate, obviously, and how that interest rate was figured. But I'm guessing that it would be between 600, 700 US dollars per month for 10 years, if that's the way it was going to be set up. But there again, I don't know the details. If anybody is interested in this, contact me. I'll leave my email, noisemasters@gmail.com, in the description, as they did not want to start getting dozens and dozens of requests for information. It was a little bit difficult doing this video because we had several people in the house running around. The lady of the house was running around trying to straighten it up as much as she could. It seemed like it was very neatly kept, very clean already, but she had some laundry hanging out upstairs, and she was just trying to clean up. We just showed up at the gate, and so they weren't expecting us at all. Show up at your front gate and say, hey, somebody wants to look at your house for sale. So they were very gracious in showing us around. We were told by the agent showing us around that as we walked the streets, there was water in a few of the streets from the rain a day prior. And she stated that they've already promised, the new mayor and councilors have promised to do some better maintenance than what is done in the past. And I don't know the historical data about the politics in that situation, but they have a 4-burner stove inside the kitchen. There's the propane tank, which is kept outside. Of course, you would want to keep it outside for safety reasons. There are some people that put it under the sink in one of the cabinets. Not a good idea. And the basement, or not the basement, the first floor CR and shower. Now the shower, there is no shower head. They do it the Filipino way, a pail and a bucket. Get yourself wet, soap up, take that scoop of water, pour it over yourself, and voila, you are clean. There she is. She's running around trying to make a neat house look even more neat. Big cabinet out back in the corner back there, and window air conditioning units. Nice big balcony up here. The storage right to the right there, storage shed. And there again, everything was nice and neat and clean, even though we showed up unannounced. So that's a good sign. One of the better looking houses in the neighborhood, I would say. From my experience, I would say a new house like this, townhouse in a new subdivision, would probably start right around in the area of 4.5 to 5.5 million pesos versus just over 3 million for this one. Of course, it will depend upon where that subdivision is located in town. Is it near all the the malls and hospitals and schools, or is it further out? That will have a location will obviously have an effect. Louvered windows there. And if it was my place, I would put a cabinet right out in that corner. And here, looking at Google Maps, we've got Deca Homes. These are the two bridges coming over from Cebu City, Mandaue City area. Here's the Mactan International Airport. And here's Deca 3 right here. Right off the main road, this main road that comes across the bridge just continues on here, and you'll end up over here. This area here, I believe, should be Mactan Newtown area, I believe. And give you a little bit different view here. This is the more realistic view. And this building here is Gaisano Grand Mall. So you're right next to a mall there. As I've said before, if you want to find a place, the easiest way to do it, and probably to find the cheaper places, is to pick a subdivision or a part of town that you might be interested in living in. Start walking around, ask the locals, and if at all possible, find a Filipino you can trust to look for and negotiate the prices. There are occasionally times where you get the foreigner price, the higher price, because you're a foreigner. And there's lots of properties. We saw several other units that had for rent signs up, room for rent, house for rent. I have talked to foreigners, expats who have found places for 7, 8, 9,000, 10,000 pesos a month, less than $200 a month. But it often takes a little feet on the ground, or at least knowing somebody who, and Filipinos network, and they know somebody who knows somebody who has a place for rent. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Safe travels to you all wherever you're at. And I'll see you next time.